Welcome to Hacker Dojo. I'm Zonker Harris. Welcome to the community center that I've come to love over the last decade plus. I started off with Hacker Dojo before there was a Hacker Dojo at super happy dev house parties. And when we finally thought, do we have enough people that might want to be a member and support a place where we could have these kinds of parties and hack and community? That was where I started helping out, evaluating sites. And in this fifth incarnation of the dojo and the artwork, I love the murals. We started to do that over at Ellis Street. And the artwork is so evocative, I think, and helps on the creative aspect for people. One of the things we've had at the dojo from its inception has been large meeting rooms and classrooms. And the classrooms were open to any member who wanted to try and put on a class. And if you were a member of the dojo, you didn't have to pay. You could go sit in the back of a class that was going on. If they had handouts or food, you couldn't expect that for free. If you wanted those or to talk to the instructors, you'd sign up and actually take part. But just having that ability to sort of learn something else and meet new people, that's what built the community aspect, I think. And that's one of the reasons I keep coming back. The other was the electronics lab. And the ability to come in and tinker and hack on hardware has been something close to my heart. I've grown up playing with electronics since the 70s and playing with ham radio since the 80s. And the ability to just come in and work on projects. I was here when some entrepreneurs would say, I need a prototype. Who can help? And we would sit down and try and put something together, or at least tell them what they could or couldn't do and how much it might cost. I don't know that I actually helped somebody get a product out the door, but I think we got a lot of people started just because there were brains in the room that you could tap and say, who can help? And members are here for each other. With the makerspace now, 3D printers are here. That's something we hadn't had in the earliest iterations, but we've had a laser cutter for the longest time. And the ability to fabricate things has been an important piece. For the robotics groups, being able to fabricate pieces with the laser cutter, nice subtractive technology. Now we have the 3D printers, that's an additive technology. All of these things are also skills that members can come and ask, how do I do this? Get some lessons, becomes a new tool in your toolbox. And the more skills and tools you have, the broader your solution set. As you start looking at puzzles or problems, now I could build a part. I could fabricate something. Let me just print a piece instead of having to try and track something down at a flea market. The community aspect is really one of the things that I've loved. And having people sitting together working on their projects. We used to have cadres from a couple of startups. Y Combinator is one example. And they would have 3 people working for 3 months trying to make a project go. Pinterest was one of those projects. And we would have in the evenings teams of 3 and 3 different little startups trying to make it work, all with the noses down. But then someone would say, is anybody hungry? And a quick straw poll, they'd pick pizza or Chinese or something else. One person would go. Everybody else stayed working on a project. Y Combinator was kind of an interesting thing because each class, each set of 3, had a little bit of stock in any of the other in the class. And so if you had a problem in your cadre, you could raise a hand and say, who can help with this? And any of the other members in the class had a vested interest in trying to get you over the hump and get back into your project, and then they'd go back to theirs. And the cross-pollination that we had, the ideas and the tools and code, and who knew Ruby on Rails, who was good with Python. Everybody had some ability, and we learned tools from each other. That kind of community has helped me more times than I can count. even though I was tinkering in Perl and some other members didn't know Perl. They'd say, well, if I was doing this in Ruby, here's how I would solve it. And it suddenly reminded me, I don't have to use this broken Perl module. I can do it another way. And suddenly I'm out of my tunnel vision. I'm back working on my project from what was a social conversation because I had to take a break because I wasn't making traction. It was the community. I could hack in my garage and I would not have that assistance. This is why I come to the dojo. And certainly I welcome anybody to come visit the dojo, meet some people, introduce yourself, and see what goes on. See if this might be an interesting place for you.
It does. I try to.
Yeah.
You may smack yourself in the face, but you know, it's okay. That's why we're using Grover.
Maybe this was like